Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum. How are you feeling today? Today we are going to continue our lesson on the English lesson Unit 1, Towns and Cities, with me, Teacher Tira. Are you ready? Let's move on to our lesson. Today, we are going to be focusing on the is there, are there, and how many. This is the method for you to ask questions about places. The aim of this lesson will be you will be able to ask and answer questions about places. Before we move on to our next lesson, we are going to recall the previous lesson about there's, there isn't, there are, and there aren't. There is and there are. These expressions, there is or there are used to indicate that something exists or is in a certain location. Let's look at the pictures below. The first one is, there is a cell phone on the table. There is a cell phone on the table. The usage of there is to point out there is a cell phone on the table. Let's look at the next picture. There are apples on the table. There are apples on the table. The usage of there are is to point out that there are many apples on the table. Now let's move on. For there is an affirmative form where, for example, there is a computer on the desk. In negative form, we use there is not a pillow on the bed, or there isn't a pillow on the bed. For interrogative form, we will use is there a park there? Is there a park there? Next, for there are, if we want to use in affirmative form, the example will be, there are 3 chairs in the classroom. There are 3 chairs in the classroom. Good. Next, for negative form, we will use there are not oranges in the fridge. There are not oranges in the fridge. Or we can also use there aren't oranges in the fridge. In interrogative form, we will be using are there 2 smartphones? Are there 2 smartphones? Okay, good. Now, let's look at this video.
is Pip's bedroom? There's a bed. There are some books. There isn't a chair. There aren't any posters. What's in Pip's bedroom? There is a bed. There's a bed. There is not a chair. There isn't a chair. There are not any posters. There aren't any posters. There are some books.
Now, remember our previous exercise about Mad City? We are going to discuss the answer right now. Let's discuss it together. Let us read together. I live in Leicester in England. It's a big city and there are a lot of things to do here. In the city center, there's a square with a big clock. But there aren't any famous monuments. Do you get the answer? Good. Let's move on to the second paragraph. There are two modern shopping centers, High Cross and Haymarket. There are also 3 theatres and a 12-screen cinema. There's a market in the city centre from Monday to Saturday. Have you got your answer? Good job! Let's move on to the last paragraph. Near my house, there's a great sports center and a really good library. There aren't any parks, but I've got a big garden. I love skateboarding, but there isn't a skateboard park near my house. I also really like Japanese food, but there isn't a Japanese restaurant in this part of town. Have you got your answers correct? Good job! Based on these answers, we are going to have to move on for our next lesson for today, which is asking questions about Mac City. Are you guys ready? Good. Let's move on. There are 3 ways of asking questions. The first one is there? For the usage of is there, it is for the singular nouns. For example, is there a monument at Trafalgar Square? Is there a monument at Trafalgar Square? You can answer this question using yes, there is, or no, it isn't. The second way of asking question is are there? Are there is used for plural nouns. For plural nouns. For example, are there any books in the library? Are there any books in the library? You can answer this question by yes, there are, or no, there aren't. The last way of asking question is how many? For how many, we use it for plural nouns. For example, how many umbrellas are there in the picture? How many umbrellas are there in the picture? You can answer this question by stating the numbers of the umbrella. There are 3 umbrellas. There are 3 umbrellas. Do you understand? Good. Let's move on to the video for your better understanding. Let's watch this video together.
Is there a park?
Yes, there is.
Is there a swimming pool?
No, there isn't a swimming pool. But there's a beach.
Are there any cinemas?
No, there aren't. But there's a theatre.
Are there any shops?
Yes, there are.
How many restaurants are there?
There are 3 restaurants. I love restaurants.
Restaurants are boring.
There is a park. Is there a park? Yes, there is. There is a swimming pool. Is there a swimming pool? No, there isn't. There are some cinemas. Are there any cinemas? No, there aren't. There are some shops. Are there any shops? Yes, there are. There are restaurants. Are there restaurants? How many restaurants are there? There are 3 restaurants.
Now, let us do some exercise together. Ready? Let's take a look at this picture. It is a picture of a bedroom. Can you construct questions using is there, are there, and how many? I will give you 3 seconds to construct the questions based on this picture. 1, 2, 3. Have you construct your questions? Good. Now I will give you the examples how to construct the questions based on these pictures. The first question is, how many chairs are there in the picture? How many chairs are there in the picture? Can you answer the question? Yes, there are 2 chairs in the picture. Good. The second question will be, is there a bicycle in the picture? Is there a bicycle in the picture? Can you answer this question? Yes, there is. Good job. The last question. Are there any dolls in the picture? Are there any dolls in the picture? Can you answer this question? Good. Yes, there are some dolls in the picture. Good job, everyone. Now you are ready to answer the question that I have given to you. Do you remember the previous discussion we do about Mac City? Now, I would like you to work on this worksheet. For this worksheet, you need to write questions and answers about Mac City. You need to use is there or how many based on your textbook page 20. The first example given is square. The question will be, is there a square? Is there a square? And you need to also provide the answer. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Now I will leave you to answer all the questions. Good luck, everyone, and thank you for listening. See you on the next lesson. Thank you.